My neighbor pulled me aside last week with this look on his face like the world was ending. His daughter just got accepted into a couple of decent colleges, and he asked me straight up, Maya, be honest with me. Is college still worth it in America in 2026? I didn't even know what to say at first.
That's a loaded question these days. Hey everyone, welcome to Conversation Point. I'm Zach.
And I'm Maya. Today we're tackling one of the biggest decisions young Americans and their families are facing right now. Is college still worth it in 2026? Or has it become too expensive and risky for what you actually get in return?
Yeah, this one hits close to home for a lot of people. Parents are saving for years, kids are stressing about applications, and everyone's wondering if that massive investment is still going to pay off.
Let's start with the reality check. The average cost of a four-year degree in America now is over $120,000 at public universities and can easily cross $200,000 at private ones. That's not pocket change. And the average student is walking out with somewhere between $38,000 to $45,000 in debt.
And that debt doesn't go away easily. Interest rates, delayed payments, life happening. A lot of graduates are still paying it off well into their 30s. Meanwhile, the job market isn't handing out high-paying jobs just because you have a degree anymore.
My cousin's daughter is a senior this year. She's smart, good grades, the whole thing. But her parents are terrified. They've been saving since she was little, but with inflation and rising tuition, they're wondering if they're making the right call by pushing her toward college.
It's a tough spot for parents. On one hand, they want the best for their kids. On the other hand, they see stories of graduates with $60,000 to $80,000 in debt working jobs that don't even require a degree. It makes you question everything.
So let's be real with the numbers. What does the job market actually look like in 2026? Are companies still requiring degrees like they used to?
Many big companies, Google, Apple, Tesla, IBM, and others, have dropped the college degree requirement for a lot of roles. They care more about skills, what you can actually do, and your ability to learn. That's a massive shift from even 10 years ago.
At the same time, some fields still heavily favor degrees. Medicine, law, certain engineering roles, teaching. But for business, marketing, tech, sales, and creative fields, the rules are changing fast.
My buddy dropped out after 2 years, taught himself coding and data analysis, and now he's making more than a lot of people with master's degrees. He loves reminding me of that whenever the topic comes up.
And that's becoming more common. But on the flip side, there are still real benefits to college. Networking, exposure to different ideas, discipline, and that piece of paper that opens some doors.
Exactly. So the question isn't black and white. It depends on what you want to do, how much debt you're willing to take on, and whether you have a clear plan.
To the audience. So if you're a high school senior, a parent paying the bills, or someone already in college wondering if it's worth it, this episode is for you. We're going to talk about the real costs, the debt situation, the job market in 2026, and the pros and cons without any sugarcoating.
We'll also share stories from both sides, people who went to college and are glad they did, and others who regret the debt or found better paths without it.
And we want to hear from you too. Are you in college right now? Did you go? Are you thinking about skipping it or taking a different route? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We actually read them.
All right, let's start breaking this down properly. The numbers are pretty eye-opening when you look at them closely. After some discussion, one thing that really stands out is how much the cost has increased compared to what graduates actually earn. In many cases, the return on investment just isn't there like it used to be.
Agreeing. Yeah, and that creates this weird pressure where kids feel like they have to go to college because that's what everyone expects, even if they're not sure what they want to do. We'll talk more about that pressure and the alternatives in the coming parts, but first, let's keep unpacking the financial reality. Zach, the financial side is wild when you really look at it. I was reading some recent stats the other day. The average student loan debt for the class of 2025 is sitting around $42,000. And that's just the average. A lot of kids are coming out with $60K, $80K, even over $100K in debt before they even start their first real job.
Man, that's brutal. Imagine starting your adult life already owing more than a brand new car. I know a guy in Philly whose daughter graduated last year with $78K in debt. She's working as a teacher, making $52K a year. She told him the payments feel like a second mortgage.
Exactly. And the worst part is, a lot of these degrees aren't even leading to jobs that pay enough to make the debt feel worth it. You got people with communications or general business degrees working at Starbucks or retail still paying off loans from 4 or 5 years ago.
My buddy's nephew just graduated from a pretty good state school with a marketing degree. Bright kid. Now he's back living at home, working in a warehouse because the entry-level marketing jobs he applied to wanted 3 years of experience. He's like, I spent 4 years and $95K to learn I need experience to get experience.
That's the classic trap right there. And parents are stuck in the middle. They've been told their whole lives that college is the golden ticket. Now they're watching their kids graduate and struggle, and they're wondering if they pushed them in the wrong direction.
It's tough on families. I was talking to a dad in Austin last month. He and his wife saved for 15 years so their son could go to UT. The kid graduated with honors, but now he's making $48K in a job that barely requires the degree. The dad told me, I feel like I failed him somehow.
That hits hard because these parents did everything right according to the old rules. They worked extra, skipped vacations, drove old cars, all so their kids could have a better shot. Now they're seeing that the shot isn't what it used to be.
And let's not forget how colleges themselves have changed. Tuition has gone up like crazy, while the actual education quality in a lot of programs hasn't kept pace. You've got huge lecture halls with hundreds of students, overworked professors, and a lot of gen ed classes that feel like a waste of time and money.
Yeah, and on top of that, a lot of colleges push this idea that you need to find yourself for 4 years while charging you premium prices. Meanwhile, the world outside is moving fast with AI, new tools, and skills that many traditional degrees aren't even teaching.
That's a big one. Companies today want people who can actually do the work, whether that's coding, data analysis, sales, or creative problem solving. A lot of self-taught people, or those who did short boot camps, are outpacing traditional graduates because they learned practical, up-to-date skills.
Curious, so where do you think the real value of college still exists in 2026?
I think it still has value in certain fields, medicine, law, engineering, research, where the credential and structured learning are necessary. Also, the networking and exposure to different people and ideas can be huge if you take advantage of it. But for a lot of other paths, it's becoming questionable whether the cost is justified.
So if you're a high school senior or a parent right now, this is the big question you're probably wrestling with. We're going to keep breaking it down honestly in this episode.
We'll talk about the success stories, the regret stories, the alternatives that are working well, and what smart choices look like in today's America.
Warren, and we really want to hear from you guys. Are you in college right now? Did you go and think it was worth it? Are you considering skipping it or taking a different route? Drop your real experiences in the comments. We actually read them.
All right, let's keep going. The numbers and stories get even more interesting when you dig deeper.
One thing that keeps coming up in these conversations is how much the return on investment has changed. In the past, a college degree almost guaranteed a good job and upward mobility. Now, it's more like a lottery ticket in a lot of fields.
Yeah, and with interest rates on student loans the way they are, that debt can follow you for decades. It delays buying a house, starting a family, everything.
So the big question every family is asking right now is it still worth it, or are we better off exploring other paths?
We'll get into the alternatives and the debate in the next parts. This is just the beginning.
Zach, the more we talk about this, the clearer it becomes that the decision isn't simple anymore. It used to be pretty straightforward. You go to college, get the degree, and things fall into place. Now, families are doing serious math before they even fill out the applications.
Exactly. Parents are sitting at the kitchen table with spreadsheets, trying to figure out if they should pull from retirement savings, take out more loans, or tell their kid to consider other options. It's stressful for everyone involved.
And the kids feel it too. They see their parents sacrificing and they feel this huge pressure to make it worth it. I know a senior in high school in Michigan who got into a solid state school, but he's seriously thinking about community college first because he doesn't want to put his parents in more debt. He told me, I don't want them working until they're 70 just so I can have a degree.
That's mature as hell for an 18-year-old, but it also shows how much the weight has shifted. Kids are now worrying about their parents' financial future while trying to plan their own.
Yeah, and let's be real. Not every kid knows what they want at 18. A lot of them go to college because that's what's expected, not because they have a clear plan. 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars later, they're still figuring it out while paying interest on loans.
I've seen that story play out so many times. Change majors twice, add an extra year, graduate with more debt, and still unsure what they want to do. It's expensive uncertainty.
Practically, so the big question every family is facing in 2026 is this. Is the traditional 4-year college route still the smartest move for most people? Or has it become too risky for what you actually get in return?
It depends on the person in the field. For some careers, it's still absolutely worth it. But for a growing number of paths, there are faster, cheaper, and sometimes better options available now.
If you're a parent saving for college or a high school senior trying to decide, you're not alone in feeling confused. The old advice doesn't fit as neatly as it used to.
In the next parts of this episode, we're going to talk about the real success stories, the regret stories, the alternatives that are working well right now, and what smart decisions actually look like in today's America.
And we really want to hear from all of you. Are you currently in college? Did you go and think it was worth the investment? Are you considering skipping it, taking a gap year, or going the trade school route? Drop your real experiences in the comments. We actually read every single one.
This conversation is just getting started. There's a lot more to unpack. The good, the bad, and the realistic paths forward in 2026.
Yeah, and we're going to keep it honest. No sugarcoating, no pretending everything is fine. Just real talk about what families are actually dealing with right now.
Stick with us. The debate gets even more interesting in the next part.
Zach, now that we've laid out the tough financial numbers, let's talk about what you're actually getting when you pay for college in America in 2026. What's still worth it, and where is the system falling short?
Good question. There are still real benefits, but they depend on how you use those 4 years. It's not the automatic win it used to be.
Let's start with the positives. College can give you something that's hard to get anywhere else. Real exposure. You're around thousands of people from different states, backgrounds, and worldviews. That environment pushes you to grow, learn how to communicate, and figure out who you are outside of your hometown.
Networking is another big one. Some of the connections you make in college can open doors years later. I know people who got solid jobs or even started businesses because of a professor or classmate they met during those years. That social capital is hard to replace.
And for a lot of 18-year-olds, college gives them that structured 4-year window to mature and gain independence, living away from home, managing their own schedule, and learning how to handle responsibility. That growth is real and valuable for many.
I definitely needed those 4 years. I came in pretty clueless and left knowing a lot more about myself. That part was worth it for me.
But here's where the value starts to break down for a growing number of students. A lot of traditional degrees aren't teaching the actual skills that employers want in 2026. Companies are looking for people who can use AI tools effectively, analyze data, sell, build things, and solve real problems quickly. Many colleges are still stuck teaching theory that's already outdated by the time you graduate.
That's the big gap right now. You can learn prompt engineering, data analysis, digital marketing, or modern coding much faster and cheaper through online resources or short bootcamps. A lot of self-taught people, or those who did 6-month programs, are landing good jobs, while some 4-year graduates are still struggling to find work that matches their degree.
I know a guy in Texas who dropped out after 2 years, did a coding boot camp, and now he's making $95K as a junior developer in Austin with almost no debt. His friends who stayed in college are still paying off loans and looking for entry-level jobs that barely pay more than he makes.
Trade schools and apprenticeships are also looking stronger than ever. Electricians, HVAC technicians, plumbers, and welders are in huge demand across the country. You can finish training in 1 to 2 years, start earning $60,000 to $90,000, and have almost no debt. That path is becoming a smart choice for a lot of young people who want to earn good money fast.
So where do you think college still makes the most sense in America right now?
Certain fields still need the degree. Medicine, law, engineering, accounting, teaching. The credential and structured learning are important there. Also, if you go to a strong school and actively network, build relationships, and gain real experience, college can still be worth it. But for a lot of other paths, the cost versus benefit is getting harder to justify.
So the big question every family is facing in 2026 is this. Are we paying for real education and growth, or are we mostly paying for a credential and 4 years of figuring things out?
We're going to keep breaking this down. We'll talk about the success stories, the regret stories, the alternatives that are working well, and what smart decisions actually look like right now.
And we really want to hear from you. If you went to college, was it worth the money and time for you? If you skipped it or took a different route, how has that worked out? Drop your real experiences in the comments. We actually read every single one.
All right, let's keep going. This conversation gets even more interesting when we look at the real return on investment in today's America.
So, Zach, we've covered the financial reality and some of the benefits. But the big question that keeps coming up for families in 2026 is this. Is the traditional 4-year college path still the smartest move for most people? Or has it become too expensive for what you actually get?
It really depends on the person and the field. For some careers, it's still worth it. For many others, the numbers just don't add up like they used to.
Practical. Let's talk about the fields where college still makes strong sense. Medicine, law, engineering, accounting, teaching. These usually require the degree and the structured learning. The credential opens doors that are hard to open otherwise.
Yeah, and in those areas, the investment can still pay off over time. But even then, students have to be smart, choosing public schools, living at home when possible, and working part-time to keep debt low.
But for a lot of other paths, business, marketing, communications, general arts degrees, the return on investment is getting weaker. You spend 4 years and a lot of money, but many graduates end up in jobs that don't require the degree and don't pay enough to make the debt feel worth it.
That's the part that hurts the most. You've got bright kids graduating with $60K or $80K in debt, working retail or entry-level jobs that pay $45K a year. They're happy to have a job, but they're wondering why they spent all that money and time.
And then there's the skills gap. Colleges are great at teaching theory, but many aren't keeping up with what employers actually need in 2026. AI tools, data analysis, modern sales techniques, digital marketing. A lot of students are learning these things on their own or through short programs because colleges move too slow.
I know a young woman in Phoenix who did a 6-month digital marketing boot camp instead of finishing her 4-year degree. She's now making $78K working remotely with almost no debt. Her friends who stayed in college are still paying loans and struggling to find good jobs.
Trade schools and apprenticeships are also looking really attractive right now. There's a huge shortage of skilled workers in America. Electricians, HVAC technicians, plumbers, and welders can finish training in 1 to 2 years and start earning solid money with very little debt.
My neighbor's son chose that route. He did an HVAC program, got certified, and at 23, he's making $72K a year with overtime opportunities. No student loans, no stress. He's already talking about buying a house next year.
To the audience, so if you're a high school senior or a parent right now, this is the reality you're facing. College can still be a great choice in certain fields, but for many paths, there are faster, cheaper, and sometimes better options available.
We're going to keep this conversation going. In the next parts, we'll talk about success stories, regret stories, and what smart decisions actually look like in America in 2026.
And we really want to hear from you. If you went to college, was it worth it? If you took a different path, how has that worked out? Drop your real experiences in the comments. We actually read every single one.
All right, let's keep going. There's still a lot more to unpack.
Zach, we've talked about the cost and the benefits, but let's get real about the debt side. Is college still worth taking on that kind of money in 2026, or has it become too risky for most people?
It's risky for a lot of students now. The average debt is around $42,000, but plenty of people are walking out with $60K to $100K or more. That's a heavy load when you're just starting out.
Especially when your starting salary in many fields is $50K or $55K. You're paying rent, groceries, a car, and then that loan payment every month. A lot of graduates feel like they're stuck before they even begin.
I know a girl in Florida who graduated with a marketing degree and $71K in debt. She's making $49K a year. She told me she sometimes regrets going because she feels like she'll be paying for that decision for the next 15 years.
That's the story we hear too often. Parents push their kids to go because they want the best for them, but then the kid ends up with debt and a job that doesn't require the degree. It creates guilt on both sides.
On the other hand, some degrees still make the debt worth it. Nursing, engineering, accounting, those fields usually pay enough to make the investment pay off over time. The key is knowing what you want before you sign up for the loans.
But for a lot of students, they go in undecided. They change majors, take extra semesters, and end up with more debt and still not sure what they want to do. That's where college becomes expensive uncertainty.
My friend's son did that, switched from business to psychology to communications. 4.5 years and $98K later, he's working at a call center. He jokes that he has a very expensive piece of paper on his wall.
And that's becoming common. Meanwhile, trade schools and short programs are looking better every year. You finish faster, start earning sooner, and carry almost no debt. A lot of young people are choosing that route and doing well.
My neighbor's son did a welding program. 2 years, very little debt, and at 23, he's making $82K with overtime. He bought a truck and is saving for a house. His college friends are still paying loans and living with their parents.
So, the big debate right now is this. Is the traditional college path still the best choice for most people, or are there smarter, cheaper ways to build a good life in America in 2026?
We're going to keep this conversation going. We'll talk more about success stories, regret stories, and what smart decisions actually look like.
And we want to hear from you. If you went to college, do you think it was worth the debt? If you took a different path, how has that worked out? Drop your real experiences in the comments. We read every single one.
All right, let's keep going. There's still a lot more to unpack in this episode.
Zach, we've gone back and forth on this. Some parts of college still make sense, but for a lot of people, the debt and uncertain return make it feel like a bad bet in 2026.
Yeah, it's not black and white. College can still be a smart move if you have a clear plan and pick the right field. But going just because it's what you're supposed to do is becoming one of the most expensive mistakes young people make.
I keep thinking about my friend's daughter in Ohio. She graduated last year with a communications degree and $64K in debt. She's working as an administrative assistant, making $44K a year. She told her mom she wishes she had done a trade program instead. That regret is real for a lot of graduates right now.
On the flip side, my cousin's son went to a state school for nursing. He graduated with $28K in debt and started at $76K a year. Within 3 years, he paid off the loans and bought a condo. For him, college was absolutely worth it.
So the answer really depends on the person and the major. Nursing, engineering, accounting, computer science, these often still pay off, but general business, psychology, communications, and many liberal arts degrees are becoming riskier unless you have a very clear plan after graduation.
And that's the problem. Most 18-year-olds don't have a clear plan. They go to college because everyone tells them it's the only real path. 4 years and a mountain of debt later, many are still figuring it out while making payments.
Parents are stuck in the middle, too.
They've been told their whole lives that college is the best thing they can give their kids. Now they're watching their children graduate with heavy debt and uncertain futures. It creates a lot of guilt and second guessing.
Seriously. Meanwhile, trade schools and short programs are having a moment. There's a huge shortage of skilled workers in America. Electricians, HVAC technicians, plumbers, and welders can finish training in 1 to 2 years and start making good money with almost no debt. That path is looking smarter for a lot of young people who want to earn well and stay practical.
So the big question for families in 2026 is this. Are we still pushing the traditional college route because that's what we've always done? Or are we being honest about the new options that exist today?
We're going to keep this conversation going. In the next part, we'll talk more about success stories, regret stories, and what smart decisions actually look like right now in America.
And we really want to hear from you. If you went to college, do you think it was worth the debt? If you took a different path, how has that worked out? Drop your real experiences in the comments. We read every single one.
All right, let's keep going. There's still a lot more to unpack before we wrap up this episode.
Zach, we've covered the tough parts, the high costs, the debt, the skills gap, and why college feels risky for so many in 2026. Now let's talk about what people can actually do. Is there still a smart way to approach this decision?
Yes, there is. The American dream isn't dead, but it needs a smarter strategy in 2026. Not everyone needs the traditional 4-year path, and not everyone should avoid it. The key is being honest about your goals and making decisions based on real numbers, not pressure.
First piece of advice for high school seniors and parents. Don't go to college just because it's what everyone expects. Ask the hard questions. What do you actually want to do? How much will it cost? What's the realistic starting salary? Run the numbers before you sign up for the loans.
If the numbers don't make sense, consider starting at community college for 2 years. You can save $40,000 to $60,000 easily, knock out general education classes, and then transfer to a 4-year school if you want. Many states make the credits transfer smoothly.
That's one of the smartest moves I see right now. A lot of students do 2 years at community college, figure out what they like, and then transfer. They graduate with way less debt and still get the 4-year degree if they need it.
Seriously, for those who know exactly what they want, nursing, engineering, accounting, teaching, college can still be worth it. But even then, choose public schools, live at home if possible, work part-time, and keep debt as low as you can. Don't go to an expensive private school unless you have a very clear reason.
What about if you're unsure what you want to do?
Take a gap year. Not to sit at home playing video games, but to work, volunteer, travel cheap, or try different things. Many people discover what they actually enjoy when they're not under academic pressure.
I know a girl in Colorado who took a gap year, worked at a ski resort, then realized she loved environmental science. She went back to school focused and graduated with purpose. That year gave her clarity she never would have had at 18.
Parents, if your child is undecided, please don't push them straight into a $120K degree. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is give them time to figure it out before they take on massive debt.
Trade schools and apprenticeships are looking really strong right now. There's a huge shortage of skilled workers in America. Electricians, HVAC technicians, plumbers, and welders can finish training in 1 to 2 years and start earning $60 to $90K with almost no debt. That path is becoming a smart choice for many. So, when should someone still go the traditional college route?
If you have a clear career that requires the degree and you can keep the debt reasonable. If you're going to a strong school and you're willing to network and gain real experience. But if you're going just because that's what you're supposed to do, it's becoming one of the most expensive mistakes young people make.
The bottom line in 2026 is this. College can still be a great choice, but it's no longer the only smart choice. There are multiple good paths now. The smartest families are the ones who look at the real numbers and make decisions based on their child's actual goals, not pressure or tradition.
We still have more practical advice coming in the final parts. Stick with us.
And we want to hear from you. What's your plan? Are you going to college, considering alternatives, or already on a different path? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one.
This conversation is far from over. Let's keep going.
Zach, we've covered a lot in this episode. The high costs, the heavy debt, the skills gap, the success stories, and the regret stories. As we wrap this up, what's the one message you want every listener to take away?
That college is not the only path anymore. In 2026 America, it can still be a good choice for some people, but it's no longer the automatic best move for everyone. The smartest decision is the one that matches your goals, your budget, and your realistic chances of success.
I agree. For some fields like nursing, engineering, or medicine, college is still worth it if you keep the debt reasonable. But for many other paths, there are faster, cheaper, and sometimes better options available now.
Practical advice. So here's the final advice. If you know exactly what you want, and it clearly needs a degree, go to a good public school, live at home if possible, work part-time, and keep debt low. If you're unsure, start at community college or consider a gap year with purpose. Don't rush into $100K plus of debt just because it's what everyone expects.
Parents, your role is important. Support your child, but also be honest with them about the numbers. Run the math together. Show them the real monthly payment on $60K or $80K in loans. Help them make an informed decision instead of just following the old script.
And if you're already in college and feeling stuck, it's not too late. You can transfer to a cheaper school, change majors, or even take a strategic pause. Your life is not over at 20 or 21.
The American dream isn't dead. It's just asking more from us now. It's asking for honesty, adaptability, and the courage to choose a path that actually fits you instead of what looks good on paper or to other people.
Some of the happiest and most successful people I know in our generation didn't follow the traditional route. They learned real skills, kept their debt low, lived below their means, and built something that works for them. That's still very possible in 2026.
Maybe the new American dream is less about keeping up with everyone else and more about building a life that gives you peace of mind and real options.
We want to hear from you. What's your plan? Are you going to college, considering alternatives, or already on a different path? What does the American dream mean to you in 2026? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. We read every single one.
Thank you for spending this much time with us today. These conversations matter because so many families are struggling with this exact decision right now.
If this episode helped you feel seen or gave you something useful to think about, please hit the like button. It really helps us reach more people.
And if you want more real conversations about college, career, money, and life in America, subscribe and turn on notifications. We drop new episodes regularly.
Maya, as always, it's been good talking with you.
Same here, Zach.
All right, everyone, take care of yourselves. Make smart choices, but don't forget to live. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Take care.